Katia. Hi, Rach and John. Myself and hubby, no kids, are on the verge of buying our first property. We currently rent in Sydney CBD as this makes most sense for work and lifestyle. Our focus in this property would be to make as much money from it as possible long term. That being said, we don't think spending $1 million plus for a 2-bed apartment in Glebe is the best choice. So Glebe, blue chip property or blue chip suburb in Sydney, isn't it? We're torn between a townhouse / smaller house within an hour of the CBD, maybe the Shire, down south in the Shire, that we could live in for a year, but this would more likely be at or over the $1 million mark versus spending $800 on a 3-bed house further out in Newcastle / Wollongong.
North or south?
North or south, yes. Similar distance, aren't they? Well, actually, Newcastle's further. The downside to this we would not be able to live in the property for the first year. It would be purely a buy to become an investment house right away. What are the pros and cons of choosing option 2? What are your thoughts, Raj?
Yeah, well, you really need to decide of whether you want to buy to live in or whether you're going to buy to invest. And they're two very different things. And I think more than ever, people are choosing to keep renting where they want to live and they're buying elsewhere. In the last 5 years, I've seen this more than I've seen it in the 15 years previous, which is people are choosing lifestyle and renting and buying other properties. So I think the first thing I would do would be to sit down and work out your why. Yeah. Why are you buying this property? If it's because you want a home for your family, it's going to be a very different decision than if you're looking for what your, I guess, investment strategy is. Are you buying for investment or are you buying to live in? And I think if you know your why, you'll be able to narrow that down a little bit more. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I think this has got first homeowner concessions written all over it. We're maybe thinking about, can we save on the stamp duty? Because in New South Wales, $800 is the cap, right, where we pay no stamp duty.
Yeah, it's higher now, yeah.
So going and buying in Newcastle and Wollongong for $800 is great. We save stamp duty, but we can't live in it. Mm. So we're saying, well, okay, we go and buy in Sydney for $1 million. We're paying full tote odds on the stamp duty anyway, aren't we? So, I think the goal for Katya is that we want to live in a property, but we've also got wealth creation as the forefront of our decision making. Just the wording of it says, well, I could go and buy in Glebe in an apartment, but is that going to be a rubbish decision for wealth creation? Yeah. So I think you're right. It's that balance. It's like, okay, I'm living in a property. What's most important? Is it lifestyle? As in, I live in Glebe and I work in the city and it's an easy commute? Or is it wealth creation? I live in the Shire down at Cronulla and I do the long commute, but I've got a better asset. Okay? Yeah. Which one wins out in the end? And sometimes, I hate to say it, but sometimes wealth creation is second. And lifestyle for us right now is first, right? We've got no kids, so we've got the ability to have hopefully a bit more time on our hands. Does that mean we want to use that time by commuting from Cronulla? Not sure. I mean, it's a good stint.
I notice you've gone Newcastle to Wollongong. You've missed the Central Coast. That's a gem. That's a gem right in your price point.
Well, $800 in Newcastle and Wollongong and even the Central Coast, we're not getting much, to be honest, are we?
No. But the $1 million mark you are? Yeah,
like 3-bedroom house in Newcastle, not a lot of options in good suburbs there, nor Wollongong.
No.
So that would probably be my least because it feels as though you want something to buy to live in. And she mentions work and lifestyle, which are a focus. But, yeah, the number one priority for her is to make as much money long term. So if that's the case, we really want to we're going to have to make some sacrifices. Now, again, coming back to the first part, the first question is like, okay, we've got this discrepancy between unit and house price. We've got low vacancy rates. If I'm buying a 2-bedroom in Glebe, ideally I want it to be 2-bath as well. I want it to have a car space, and ideally it's in a quiet street and in a small complex, ideally. Yeah. Now, can we get all that for $1 million plus? if we can. It gives us lifestyle, it gives us a reasonable asset, and we're in our own home. If we can't get that, that's where that smaller house may be a better option.
Yeah.
Townhouse is an interesting one. What do you think of townhouses?
I see a lot of townhouses, especially closer into the city. I think it depends on how they're structured. So is there a lot in the complex, or are there a few in the complex?
Yeah, and we had this text off yesterday, didn't we? In preparation. Because you're right. You could have two townhouses, both Torrens titled on the one block, and it's essentially your own townhouse versus having 6 in a complex where they're strata titled.
Yeah, I would call that a duplex.
Yeah, that's right. But they're a townhouse, aren't they?
Yeah.
Townhouse/duplex, depending on the lingo.
We went into semantics yesterday.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that's right. Interesting question and great question and very common question that I'm seeing anyway.
Yeah, what I wouldn't get caught in would be the first home buyer benefits. I think that when you're looking long-term strategy, take that first home buyer benefit out when you're making a big decision.
Yeah, I think they're gone, aren't they, really? We're at that sort of price point that she's looking at. So, yeah, hopefully that helps catch her.